Now, if I didn't know any better, I'd say that you're looking at running for president.
Do it. Do it. Look at me. Do it. I will personally write you a campaign check now on behalf of this country, which does not want you to be president, but which badly wants you to run.
I am officially running for President of the United States, and we are going to make our country great again.
There's not going to be a President Donald Trump.
I think that man will be president of the United States right about the time that spaceships come down filled with dinosaurs and red cake.
Donald Trump has been saying that he will run for president as a Republican, which is surprising since I just assumed he was running as a joke.
Donald Trump will not become president.
I continue to believe Mr. Trump will not be president.
Donald Trump will never, ever be president.
Moderator, but apparently believes that Donald Trump is a clown.
President Obama will go down as perhaps the worst president in the history of the United States! Exclamation point at real Donald Trump. Well, at real Donald Trump, at least I will go down as a president.
You're never going to be president of the United States by insulting your way to
Let's see, I'm at 42 and you're at...
We have a key race alert right now. Donald Trump now has reached the number of delegates needed to clinch the Republican presidential nomination.
So, right now, Mr. Trump, to answer your call for political honesty, I just want to say, you're not going to be president, all right? It's been fun. It's been great. I love you. But come on, buddy.
Donald Trump, while we project, will win in Kentucky with its 8th electoral vote, in Indiana with its 11th electoral vote, West Virginia, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Mississippi, South Carolina, Alabama, Kansas with its 6 electoral votes, Nebraska with its 5 electoral votes, and Wyoming with its 3 electoral votes, North Dakota with its 3 electoral votes, and South Dakota, Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, the state of Montana, Missouri, Ohio, Idaho, North Carolina.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
Together, we will make America great again.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to CobraCast IRL. I am your host, D-Day Cobra. This is the most viewed show on YouTube with IRL in the name. The most members, the most super chats. You know how we roll around here. I did not do a CobraCast last night. I forgot. It's not that I forgot. I got my days mixed up. I apologize. I heard from a lot of you that you guys were like, where's he at? Where's he at? And yeah, so my apologies, Snake Pit. I apologize. Yes, beard for Jeremy since he forgot yesterday. The Mario movie threw me all out of whack. So my bad, but that's why we're here. But I am not alone today. I have a very special guest joining us on CobraCast IRL. And here he is. Suresh from 221B Tactical and The Situation with Suresh. How you doing, my friend?
Doing amazing. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. Does it ever get old watching that intro? It never gets old.
It's so amazing. It's so amazing.
Yeah. And it's, man, I'll never get tired of watching it. And now watching the whole meltdown that's going on right now with Trump. And I think we're going to talk about that for sure. Me and you, we got a lot to talk about when it comes to that. But yeah, I mean, the world's kind of crazy. I just told Suresh about this whole deal with this transgender person with the manifesto that got busted, that apparently was plotting to assassinate President Trump and targeting schools and churches in their manifesto. What a world we are living in right now. What a world we are living in, indeed. But we've got people rolling in. We got Gerald Armstrong. Is it me or did Cranky Kong sound like Bernie Sanders? I did not like Cranky Kong's voice in the Mario movie at all. It was a little distracting. Slag Less says, I want Ryan to yell at Jeremy again. That was hot. Hey, we have that's what we do almost every stream. So I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. As is Wonky Eyebrow, nice to see you on with Drinker and Mr. T today. Yeah, Drinker was awesome. I was on with the Critical Drinker. We had a great stream. It's always awesome to go on the Critical Drinker's stream. He is awesome. Let's see. Cassius says, MAGA. That's right. MJ, new member. Thank you. Alec Baldwin's finger. Stop blinging Filoni for missing yesterday's show. Thank you, Alec Baldwin's finger. A lot of carryover from today's stream. But yeah, it's been a crazy day. I want to show you. So, Suresh, you're not familiar with this story. So I got to show you this story right now. I think I'm just going to pull our boy Benny Johnson's video up so we can just react to Benny and also give him a shout out. Mav Dick member message. I have never played Resident Evil 2 or 4. Just the remakes. Fantastic. Both of them. 2 was scary as hell and 4 was amazing overall. 4 is one of the best games ever, in my opinion. I haven't played the remake yet, but yeah, fantastic game and a fantastic series. All right, so this just broke a few hours ago. Check this out right here.
Alert this afternoon. Authorities believe that they may have thwarted alleged school shootings in our area. A former student has been charged with threats targeting schools in Colorado Springs. 19-year-old William Whitworth, who identifies as Lily, is facing attempted first-degree murder charges, among other charges.
Insanity.
Holy crap, guys. This is a very, very scary time to be in, well, Joe Biden's America. A transgender would-be mass shooter has been arrested in Colorado. Here is the teen's mugshot. This man goes by Lily. This man had a manifesto that included Donald Trump in it to presumably be killed. Teen suspected of planning a shoot-up across Colorado Springs area schools and churches. Arrested. So another transgender individual.
So Suraj, so for our audience that doesn't know, and I know you guys are piling in here, I appreciate you guys being here. Smash the melee button if you don't mind. This is CobraCast IRL. We are joined by Suresh from 221B Tactical. Suresh is also a former police officer, and he can bring a lot of insight to the table from a lot of this. But what do you make of all this stuff that's happened with Nashville, with manifestos, with potential mental derangement going on? I mean, this is some scary stuff right here. So what do you make of all this?
Well, you have to look at the foundation of someone who is going through this. This is to say that this is being pushed in our society and in our country right now is an understatement. And there was, I forget who put out the research, but there's research out there to show that so many of these individuals that are transitioning, whether it's from biological female to male or biological male to female, are there was a high percentage, I think it exceeded 80%, are on some sort of psychiatric drugs or under some sort of treatment of some kind. But being on some of these drugs obviously alters your mental state, and it could make you not think clearly. It can give you, it says right on the package, it says it could give you suicidal and homicidal tendencies. So that is something that if you know anyone that is on any of these medications, they're suffering from depression, anxiety, or any slew of these mental conditions, let me say, this, and someone who studied this for so many years as well. My prior life to law enforcement was medicine and going, studying to become a physician. So I look at this very carefully, and that's the underlying issue. It's not only so much a transgender thing, but the high likelihood that this individual, and I think it was confirmed, the individual that did the Tennessee shooting at the Covenant Christian School was on some sort of medication or under the care of some sort of psychiatric or some kind of counselor. And then we also have this individual now, this person that identifies as Lily, this Whitworth character, also more than likely, I would bet quite a bit of money, is on some sort of mental health medication, whatever it may be. And like I said, many times this can cause homicidal, suicidal tendencies. And then, that's exasperated by the fact that you have this sentiment in this country that there's this big anti-trans, I don't know where it is. I don't see it.
It's make believe.
It's make believe. I don't see, let me put this forward. When's the last time you heard of a hate crime against a transgender individual? Because if there was one, it would be national news at this point. It would be on the same level as a white officer maybe shooting an unarmed black man. If a transgender individual got attacked, got whatever, in any capacity, the news would be all over it. I haven't heard of one. I'm not going to sit here and say it hasn't happened, it doesn't happen, but I just don't see it as this thing that they're creating, the transphobic, anti-trans. In my time, maybe I'm dating myself, growing up, going to school, and when I was studying to be a physician in New York City, we referred to these individuals as cross-dressers. They were cross-dressers. That's what and they were men who were dressing up as women and whatever, and that may be the part of the drag, but we also saw that there was a little bit of the men who thought they were women and women who thought they were men, and that's, no one had any issue with it. New York City was a melting pot of all kinds. No one cared, and I still felt that sentiment going through up until just a couple of years ago, where they started shoving this down your throat, and they started talking about it so much that if anyone just essentially said, I don't care, you do you, I mean, it is what it is, that wasn't enough, because
I'm gonna show you. This is what happens. Yeah, this is what happens when you slip up and make a simple mistake.
Oh, this is crazy.
Excuse me, it's ma'am. It is ma'am.
I can call the police if you'd like me to. You need to settle down.
You need to settle down and mind your business, okay? Ma'am, once again, ma'am.
I said both of you.
No, you said sir. Once again, it's ma'am.
I actually said both of you guys. It was general.
Right beforehand, you fucking said sir.
Sir? Okay.
Motherfucker, take it outside. You won't call me sir again. I will show you a fucking sir. Motherfucker. I need your corporate number, because I'm going to call them and talk about how it was misgendered several times in the store. I need your corporate number now.
This is amazing.
Get it for me now. Give me your corporate number. Well, I'm going to ask you for the 5th time to stop calling me a man, because quite clearly I am not.
And I apologize for that, ma'am. I'll get you that number. Is that okay?
Yes, get it for me now.
I'm asking you to stop.
Get it for me now. I'm not cussing. I'm not cussing.
Okay.
Get me the damn number now, please. Ooh! Ooh!
This is.
No, you're just going to keep bumping your gums. You're just going to keep bumping your gums and disrespecting trans people in this store, which I plan on telling the entire LGBTQ community. You're going to lose money over this.
Oh my God. That was straight out of Pulp Fiction. Say what again? Say what? Say what again?
Motherfucker. I'm like, that is not very ladylike.
Oh my God.
So the point is, this this is where the victim mentality of this person just made a big, massive scene, a mega viral video over. No normal thinking person's going to look at that thing and think woman. They're going to think that's a dude dressed up thinking trying to look like, but that ain't a fucking woman. That's a dude. That's Hulk Hogan. You know what I mean?
And it's hard. That poor cashier, clearly that kid didn't have a bad bone in his body. He was nervous.
No,
he was
tripping
tripping
trying
up.
his best.
He was trying his best. And have some sympathy. Like, this is a kid who is probably like the least transphobic kid in the world. He's just confused. He doesn't know what's going on. He's seeing what appears to be a man that's maybe trying to be a woman and is trying to be understanding, but keeps slipping up because of his nervousness. And this individual is yelling at them and destroying the store. Like, listen, no one cares. And that's the problem. That's the problem here, Jeremy. Nobody cared. And since nobody cared, they said, oh, well, we got to get people to care. So we got to get something going here. And it's all started with like the pronoun stuff. It's like, okay, I want to be, no one cares. No one is talking about you. When you use pronouns, you're not even there. The person is not even there. So why do you care how someone is referencing you when you're not even present to hear it? That is the most like egotistical thing. Listen, if I said, Jeremy, listen, whenever you're talking about me and I'm not there, when you're talking to Ryan or anyone else, I want you to refer to me as King. And if you don't, I'm going to be highly offended if you don't refer to me as King Suresh. Like, one, I would never know. Two, who cares? So it started with that, and then there was a ripple effect. And it was people are not really caring about us being trans or whatever. So we now need to create something to make this angst and turn ourselves into victims and give us some attention. And that now they have it. Now it's like, and literally still no one really cares. Do what you want, dress like you want. Don't bother me. I won't bother you. I don't care what you dress like. I don't care what you want to be. I don't care what you identify as. That's like 99% of people. No one gives a shit. No one gives. Are we allowed to curse? Are we allowed to curse?
Yeah, of course, okay. Of course. This is
no
CobraCast IRL. This ain't Timcast. We don't give a fuck. We ain't pussies around here. All right, go ahead.
That's right. So that's the reality of it. That's the whole basis of this. No one cared, and they said, okay, no one cares, so we need to get some attention here. That's it.
That's all it is.
Like,
and
do you remember when the Caitlyn Jenner thing happened?
Yeah.
People were like, "Oh, wow, it's kind of weird." Okay, anyway. Okay. She came on the show, the Kardashians. No one cared. No one cared.
You know what? Do you know when they started caring? Do you know when they started caring? Do you know when people started caring and Caitlyn Jenner started getting some real outrage? This picture's still the funniest fucking picture I've ever seen. This is when Caitlyn Jenner started to get actual hate. Right here. When Caitlyn Jenner was spotted driving with a MAGA hat on.
Oh my goodness. Oh,
that's when Bruce Jenner started getting hate from the tolerant left right there. And cruising around looking like Macho Man Randy Savage or something with a damn MAGA hat on.
I love it. I love it.
And then
you
suddenly you started to see the hate.
You remember how much hatred he got when he said transgender biological males should not be competing in female sports? They went after. Oh my goodness. I couldn't believe, let me not say the wrong pronoun. They went after her, meaning Caitlyn Jenner, so hard and like wanted to annihilate her. I'm like, what? Why? This is someone who was a high level athlete and knows sports probably more than most people in this domain. And that was it. That was it. All she said was biological men should not be competing with women. That's simply not right. Simply not fair.
I'll call it. I'm either gonna call it an it or a dude. I ain't calling Bruce a damn chick.
It's so weird.
It's so weird. Yeah. So it's an it or a dude. That's the way I look at it. Hayden for 20 says, Suresh, you may have some insight here, and I think people want to know, how did these people not get caught before? How did these people not get caught before? Does the work rely on reporting from people, or are these people monitored? We hear was on our radar a lot. So how does that situation work?
So you hear that a lot, and unfortunately, there has to be an event. Now, you'll see that you can go through 100 background checks to get a firearm. If you have never committed a crime before, you have no criminal history, eventually it may take a week, it may take a month, it may take however long it takes. In Chicago, it either takes months, or if you're a criminal, you have one within minutes. But if you don't have a criminal record, you ultimately will get one. So we saw in the Nashville incident, the individual had no criminal record, went and purchased multiple guns, had never committed a crime. Now, what there isn't, which I believe there should be, is, and many people lie, and I think there's a question: are you under the care of some sort of mental health physician, or there's a question, there are questions along those lines, at least in the state that I lived in. And most people just lie. Most people lie and just say no. As we see, many of these people are on some sort of medication, and they are under the care of some sort of counselor, therapist, whatever it may be. So I think there should be a database that they check, that if you are seeing someone for mental health issues, I believe that mental health professional, if they feel that you're just dealing with some things and you're fine, okay, fine. But if they feel that in any form, any way, shape, or form, that you may have homicidal, suicide, whatever tendencies, they should enter your name into a database. And that database should be checked if that individual is going to be trying to purchase a firearm. Now, that person, let's say in the Nashville situation, went to go purchase a firearm, and her name came up on that list of under mental health care. They would contact a mental health care professional and say, hey, so-and-so applied for a permit for a firearm. Do you think this is someone who should be allowed? And have the mental health professional provide either a referral, an acceptance, or denial. And then that's covered. Because you hear that in so many of these cases. These people were clearly not mentally right. They were seeing somebody taking some kind of medication, but that was completely bypassed, because all they'd look at is, did you ever commit a crime before? Well, none of these school shooters ever committed a crime. But when they do commit their crime, they walk into a building and they kill a bunch of people. So at that point, it's too late. And they ultimately most likely kill themselves. So that's the little loophole that no one's talking about. And, I'm no politician, but if I was a politician, that's the first thing I would put forth.
So you're talking what exactly is, just to be specific, what you put forth?
I would put forth a database, the creation.
And I would think you would get a lot of kickback on that because of how it's been abused. No one trusts any politician to have a database. So it's almost like the Patriot Act. You know how, so George W. Bush, enlisted the Patriot Act, and it was in the name of freedom and, defeating terrorism. But in reality, what that was done is that was meant to encroach upon Americans' private lives. So I don't think anyone trusts the government to have a database anymore. And I think that will be the big kickback that would happen there.
100%. And, especially you're talking about, technically medical records. So with HIPAA, medical records are, very, very touchy subjects. However, you have no way to figure out. You have no, unless what you do is, if someone comes in to apply for a firearm permit, you do their criminal background check, and then you have to sit each person down with some kind of therapist. Before I became a police officer, I had to go through multiple psych evaluations to see if I was fit to be a police officer. That was because why? Because I was going to be carrying a gun and wearing a badge. So they put me through rigorous psychological evaluations before I got hired. And guess what? Many cops who are trying to become police officers fail that, and they don't ultimately become police officers. So why don't we do that for regular people who are getting gun permits? I don't know.
Well, I think in my opinion, and again, I know you're obviously 100% connected to the 2A world in a large way. So that world and a lot better than most people do. Now, what I would say is from my position on it, just being an average Joe, I look at it and I feel like if we weren't as a country, which is kind of, especially under the Biden administration, I feel like the biggest problem is the celebration of mental illness. Because right now, mental illness is being celebrated and it's being encouraged. And I think that that is a bigger problem that puts us in such dangerous territories now, to where even people like Ben Shapiro are supporting like red flag laws and stuff like that, which is something he's historically been against. And now all of a sudden he's saying he's for red flag laws, and he's always been against that prior. And I think that the celebration of mental illness from corporations, from politicians, from the Biden administration, I think that is encouraging people to, because we all, like when we were young, we all go through things when we're growing up, and we go through these things. And like what we're having now is we're having media, Hollywood, and corporations and politicians telling children when they're confused at a really young age, they're telling you, hey, embrace all the fucked up shit that's wrong with you. It's okay. You don't have to grow as a person. You don't have to experience anything in life. You're not old. We're not going to let you make decisions like voting, or we're not going to let you make have sex at a young age. We're not going to let you decide. We're not going to let you drive down the road. But hey, if you want to chop your balls off, go for it. And it's like, what? You know, what kind of craziness?
And now you're seeing you're seeing crazy things like in Canada, where like if you in any way speak up or out against that, they're gonna like throw you in jail, or some crazy thing came out. I was like, what is happening? Like, how can they? How did we get to the point in our nation where if your 7-year-old says, oh, they're a boy, and they say, I want to become a girl, and they want to go get a physical operation from a surgeon to make that happen, and you as your parent are against that because they're 7, you, the parent, are going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
Like, you, the parent, like, at 7, I wasn't even allowed to like determine what I wanted for dinner or what I was going to wear to school. But now we're at the point where if your 7-year-old in certain states wants to get an operation that's essentially castration, and you don't support it, you're the one who can go to jail, and you're the one who's going to get in trouble. Like, what? Like, how did we get to that point?
The leftist mindset, and I think that's what's put us in such a bad position right now. Let me catch up on a couple of these really quick super chats. Stacy S for $50 says, give me your corporate number, Jeremy. You gonna call corporate on me because I misgendered Bruce Jenner? Stacy S is awesome. Thank you, Stacy. And then Hayden says, I got called ma'am the other day by a waitress who obviously spoke Spanish before English. I have long hair and a beard. I just laughed. It was no big deal. Funny, especially in modern day. Yeah, 100%. And that's what we've lost. We've lost the ability to laugh at shit. People just want to be fake offended over everything now. Jessica got gifted a membership, and we've gotten a lot of gifted memberships. So I saw my boy Ruben Christopher in the chat, and he left a member message, says, Snake Pit, rise up. I'm moving to Rumble. The Uniparty and Global Elite will tremble. In my business, I eat greenhorns for breakfast. Imagine if Alex Jones, Drew Hernandez, Primetime 99, and Jordan B. Peterson combo. I will rise, debate, and win. Hashtag MAGA. And then Ruben Christopher Haynes dropped 10 gifted memberships.
Damn.
10 of them, baby. Thank you. Appreciate you, brother, and I hope you're doing well. As is Wonky Eyebrow dropped 5 gifted memberships. We have 2 new members, so we're up to 17 on the night. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. And Lying Dog Face Pony Soldier gifted a D-Day Cobra membership as well. Thank you guys.
Best name ever, by the way.
I know it. Juggernuts for $25. It's a big no on the psych evals and the databases. This is ripe for abuse. Every vet in the country with any sort of PTSD would have their guns taken from them. And it is not the government's business to know your medical status. Well, yeah, I see. So you're going to get a lot of kick, especially from this audience. Right? You're going to get a lot of kickback on this database. And I disagree completely.
Clearly, no one knows how many guns I own. And how much of a supporter. However, that would be something. Let me make this clear. That is something that could be a potential alternative to simply just taking everyone's guns away, because that's the alternative. Take everyone's guns away, because people can't be trusted with guns. They don't need guns, whatever. So I'm not a proponent of take everyone's guns away. What can we do? What's something that we could do to quell all these lunatics and nut jobs from doing what they're doing? And I saw someone put, yeah, let's get a cop in every school. Yeah, we saw that. We see the numbers, right? It's like 1/100th of what we've given to the Ukraine.
Yes.
We could put a cop in every school and have an armed retired police officer or an armed retired veteran in every single school. And what was the number? It was like under $1 billion. There's something crazy like that. And we've given 100 billion plus to Ukraine. So where's the priorities of our government? If they really wanted to protect our children, and they're all sitting there with their signs in front of, the Capitol, protect our children. We got to ban guns, protect our children, get rid of the guns, get rid of the AR-15s. Okay. But what about the first step you could do is put someone with a gun, an armed professional, in the school building? I know you can't put one everywhere because we see these shootings happen at malls, at movie theaters, at churches. I get it. But if we want to protect our children, I don't understand why we aren't putting money toward that. And it could be funded by the federal government. They say they don't have enough money because they're giving it all to Ukraine or somewhere else. I don't know where they're giving it to.
Well, and I think that's what it comes back to for me is this is why I'm such a big advocate of Donald Trump, because Trump preaches on America first. Stop giving money to all these other countries. Let's put money back into America. And so the most realistic answer for me in the situation we're in, there's two realistic answers. And that is, yes. So why do I always try to do my meetups at places that have security, or there are higher security at our meetups, or I go to somewhere like Universal Studios. Why? Because they have metal detectors and they have security. And so I know no crazy person can come get to me. And the reality of it is yes, we could put security literally every important place, whether that's a mall, a church, a bank. We could, if we weren't giving $500 billion to Ukraine, so we can, as a country, do it. And so I find that to be far more so the two things: security, a good guy with a gun. There's a lot of vets. There's a lot of former police officers. A lot of them. There's a lot of good guys that we could give a gun to. And then we stop embracing mental illness. Now, there's still going to be crazy people out there. And hey, guess what? The more good guys with a gun, the less that crazy person can impact it. And the more that crazy person tries it, they're going to get taken down really quick with the good guy with the gun. So that's my kind of realistic answer for it. You're never going to stop crazy people from being crazy people. What you would hope is that a good guy with a gun can stop the bad guy with the gun in more cases than not. And so, look, what was it? Uvalde versus Nashville. Look at the difference in just good police officers stepping up and doing the job versus a bad situation. And look how much it limited the Nashville situation versus Texas. It was awful. But that was kind of my that's my realistic take on it. But I would never want to give the government databases. Never.
Well, Jeremy, let's face it.
And they already do have a lot of databases.
I was just going to say that.
Yes,
I was just going to say that. Come on.
Right.
For everyone who's like, we can't give the government that information. Guys, do you think they already don't have it to some degree?
They probably do.
You go get your prescription filled at CVS or Walgreens or whatever. You think the government doesn't have access to know what medication that every single person in this country is on? If anyone out there thinks that the government doesn't know a prescription you're taking that you get from a pharmacy in this country, you're crazy. You're out of it. You're so disconnected from reality.
What I would say though is you're still offering. The more information you give them, the worse it gets. So it's like if we're starting to offer up information, that's just going down a really dark road. You know what I mean? Obviously they have information. That's obvious.
But let me correct. It's not information like your whole mental health history from the mental health professional. It's simply, if we need to take this step, and this is the step before they say, oh, we're taking all the guns away, this would be like the final straw. Okay, fine. You get a recommendation from the mental health professional that I am currently seeing. You don't get to know my mental health history, but my professional gives you a yes or no whether I should have a weapon. Now, let's also talk about the fact that if I am crazy enough and I am intent on harming people, I'm going to find a way to do it. I'm going to find a way to do it. I'm going to find a way to get a weapon. I'm going to find a truck. I'm going to drive it through a playground. I'm going to get knives. I'm going to do something crazy, right? Because if you're crazy enough and you somehow do get denied because you're a psychiatrist, gets the form and says, hey, Jeremy Griggs, is he, should he have a gun? And your psychiatrist says, yeah, he's going through some stuff. I'm just going to put no. That's it. No. That's all. No medical history, just no. You're going to find a way to get a gun. If you're hell bent on it, you're going to find a way.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing's going to stop you.
No, absolutely. And I think that at the end of the day, though, it just comes back to I think less government intervention is better than more. I think that's the simple answer.
Always.
What I mean?
And when everyone knows with the government, you give them an inch, they're going to take 100 miles. And that's the other danger of something like that. If you give them an inch, they're going to run and take. Once again, they already have it. They already have it. So like with us talking about like, oh, let's not give them any more. They already got it. We know that. It's just, and that's why they say, oh, we were watching this person. They were on a watch list. Oh, we were watching. I forget which shooter it was. Was it Uvalde? That guy was on their radar, and the FBI had been to his house, twice? Like, the FBI has been to your house twice. That's not normal.
No, it's not. And again, it's just, man, I mean, if we look at I think it comes back, like, look how weak our military is becoming under, and it's not just Biden. I mean, this was happening before Biden. Biden's accelerated it substantially. And I think that to kind of shift the discussion to more pressing, the more thing that I titled it was like Trump, Trump's arrest and what's going on with this entire situation. And it's all because this is how desperate they are to hold control. And this is why, to kind of segue from where we were, but like, this is why people are just they have no faith in the government whatsoever. And they shouldn't, because right now you have the Republican front runner right now by a mile, former president of the United States, which there's already a ton of questionable things as to, what happened in 2020. And they've arrested him on absolute bullshit charges. They've taken what would be a misdemeanor at best and turned it into a felony. And this clip right here, which is what I want to show, because Alvin Bragg is getting absolutely annihilated, as he should. But this clip right here, I don't know if you've seen this, but here we go. Right here.
How do you feel? I know you've been on our show before and you lost your son. He was murdered. Mm-hmm. And here we have Alvin Bragg focusing on President Trump for paying money to some lady that he might have had, a relationship with.
Mm-hmm. Well, they picked up a new slogan. No one is above the law. If no one is above the law, then I don't understand how Alvin Bragg could dismiss murder and gang assault indictments against two of the people involved in the murder of my son. Because it seems to me that murderers are above the law in New York City. So all of this, no one is above the law, nonsense is just that. It's nonsense. We see it every single day. In the Black and brown communities, every day, all day. Everyone is above the law. They're not even making it to the DA's office. The cases are not even being prosecuted, period. All right? They're being released from the precincts with a desk appearance ticket to a referral to a community-based organization that has shown no measurable outcomes of effectiveness of what they're doing with our millions and billions of tax dollars. We see crime rising out of control every single day. And Alvin Bragg is doing absolutely zero. All right? They depending on data, all right? Anything over 0% of collateral damage is too many.
And you voted for Trump in 2020.
Absolutely.
Will you
I
vote
will
for him?
vote for him again. I am a proud Black conservative.
Okay. Frank, let me get to you. You're
Hell yeah. And I think this type of stuff right here, this is why this will backfire completely on them. You have taken the most popular person in this country and probably in this world, also the most hated. Donald Trump, he's the most popular and the most hated. And you have galvanized his base to the strongest point that it's ever been. And now you're going to have people like this guy, this Alvin Bragg guy is a disaster. His record is a disaster. And normal everyday Americans are going to see that. And they're going to be like, wow, they really are railroading Trump. And I think this is going to be a glorious backfire. This is not going to work. They're going to try everything they can, but I think Americans are going to stand up to it. Normal sense, common sense people are going to look at this and just reject all of this completely. So what are you thinking about all this?
Well, there's a lot of things that people don't know about the Trump indictment. I had the ability to speak to two different attorneys about this indictment, and there's quite a bit that wasn't disclosed, and some people who have taken the time to actually read through the charges. I have read through the charges. So there's something you could do as a police officer, which is kind of like just like piling on, like when you arrest someone and they're a complete jerk and they're a complete like piece of crap, you could like essentially just pile on charges on top of charges on top of charges if you want to do that. What they're doing is the 34 counts here are based on about 3 separate alleged crimes. However, they're taking every little detail of each of those crimes and turning it into like 5 or 6 things. So like if there was a false entry into a business ledger and that entry involved a check, the writing of the signing of the check, the entering it into the ledger, the invoice from the ledger, the invoice, received, the receipt received on that check. So like the one action of the check leads to 5 counts here. So that's how they got to 34, which is, I don't want to say it's like a BS thing, because technically you can do that. But it's so stupid. And any lawyer there's Democrat lawyers, people who are so far left, they're insane. They're even saying, okay, listen, we see what's going on here with the 34 counts. You turn 3 into 34 here. Like everyone can see it. They just did that so the 34 number was shocking. And that the average person sees 34 as if he committed 34 felonies. And that's just simply not true. That was a shock value thing they did. And of course, it worked for a lot of people. People on the left are like, well, 34 counts. They have no idea what they're talking about. Obviously, if that was something that was serious, 34 felony counts would be 136 years in jail. So, I mean, there's like that woman said, there's murderers in New York City not getting that. So, like, it was a bogus,
and 134 years total is what because that was part of the headline. It's like 136. Yes, 136 years. Donald Trump is facing 136 years in prison, and that's their whole point. It's to put sensational headlines out there, to have the image painted that he is a criminal or that he's facing these outlandish charges. And then a lot of people that aren't plugged into the news cycle, they're just going to sit there and think he's being arrested for January 6th. That's what a lot of people thought up front. It's like, oh, he's being arrested for January 6th. And it's like, no, that's not the case at all. And again, I think this is backfiring completely on them, as it should, and as it more than likely will. There's obviously I know New York, he can't get a fair trial or whatever.
No.
According to Trump, they wanted him to settle. I guess they wanted him to go to jail for like 3 months or something like
90
that.
days. Yeah,
90 days. He completely rejected that, as he should have. But I think right now, like, I firmly believe that Trump is the last hope for this country to get saved, because if he doesn't win in 2024, we are in horrible shape. It does not look good, especially for how much I have soured on DeSantis in the last few months.
You've soured on DeSantis hard, man.
Big time.
Yeah.
Because my loyalties with Donald Trump, and I just think DeSantis kind of showed his true stance on things, and he basically confirmed everything Trump's been saying about him, that he's talking to rhinos behind the scenes, that he's plotting behind him. You've got the Bush family that's rumored to be working with DeSantis, and it's like, man, Carrie Lake is the one that's really shined in the last month for me, with her constant support of Trump. And, again, I like DeSantis. I like the state of Florida. Obviously, I live here. I thought he did a fine job, but Trump is it all comes down to Trump, and I'm going to side with Trump no matter what. So this whole thing is a sham beyond belief.
It is, and I could speak to a little bit more. So Alvin Bragg is stating that these, let's call it 3. There's 3 crimes, and that he turned those 3 crimes into a 34 count indictment, right? And even legal scholars on the left are saying there's really only 3 things here, and all of it is tied to the Stormy Daniels hush money payment, which we all know is complete garbage. Like Bill Clinton, while president, handed what's her name, an $850,000 check. Like, let's get real here, people. So, but he's saying that those misdemeanors are felonies because they're tied to, he's tying the crime to the presidential election, which we all know a state level DA can't do. So what no one's talking about how is the FEC, which the attorney from New York I spoke to, the FEC, the Federal Election Committee, looked into this exact matter, and they're the ones who would have the ability to put forth federal felony charges against Donald Trump. They looked into this not once, not twice, but 3 times, and they each time said, there's nothing here. There's nothing we can do. There's nothing here. The facts don't support charging Donald Trump with a federal election violation here. So now Alvin Bragg is coming in and trying to throw a New York misdemeanor into a federal felony. And every attorney that I've talked to.
Hang on. And the plot thickens. Look at this right here. Just in, the New York judge overseeing President Trump's case donated money to the Biden presidential campaign in 2020, according to FEC records.
He's got to be out. He's got to be out.
What a fucking joke this is.
And
what a
I don't know
fucking joke this is.
Didn't his wife tweet something out, or was that the prosecutor's
his daughter? Well, his daughter. I think his daughter was involved with the Biden-Harris campaign, something like that.
Is
his
crazy,
daughter was,
man. Like, this is crazy. Like, this is already a shit show.
Yep.
Get this guy out. Like, get him out. Like, and like the other guy's wife, I think it was Alvin Bragg's wife, put out a tweet saying like something about like her husband got him. Like, what is going on here?
Yep.
This is,
but like,
this
I don't even think.
In, like,
no, but like, I
local
don't even
court.
think it's like, I don't even think it's get him out as much as it's, this whole thing is a complete joke. This whole thing, every single aspect of this whole thing is a joke. The Stormy Daniels situation. Stormy Daniels is on record saying, like, where's it at? There's a sign, and I know we've talked about this before, but it's like I bookmarked it earlier so we could talk about it. Right here, like Stormy Daniels and Michael Cohen are the only 2 people involved. Breaking signed official statement of Stormy Daniels admits affair never happened and that she was not paid hush money. This is official statement from Stormy Daniels on January 30th, 2018. To whom it may concern, over the past few weeks, I have been asked countless times to comment on reports of the alleged sexual relationship I had with Donald Trump many, many, many years ago. The fact of the matter is that each party to this alleged affair denied its existence in 2006. Blah blah blah. Now again in 2018, I am not denying this affair because I was paid quote hush money, as has been reported in overseas owned tabloids. I am denying this affair because it never happened. I will have no further comment on this matter. What the fuck is going on? Why is Trump in this situation? Because of psychopathic leftists. This whole thing is a joke. And she's the one that owes him now upwards of like $600,000.
The Ninth Circuit just awarded another $120,000 she owes Trump, and that's on top of $500,000 that was already levied against her to pay Trump. So she's in over $500,000 that she owes Trump. And yet this is their star witness. This is the person they're hanging their hat on. I don't even like, it's almost like I'm at a loss for words. And then on top of it all, the statute of limitations, like we couldn't charge someone with a traffic ticket once the statute of limitations was up. The statute of limitations for a misdemeanor in New York State is 2 years. The statute of limitations for a felony, a Class E felony, and by the way, Class E felony is 5 years. It's been 6 years. It's done. It's over with. It's done. That's his attorneys. That's the first thing they're going to go after is the statute of limitations. But I don't know if you did you see the thing about like residency, that like continuous residency? Did you know that? You know that clause?
No. What's
okay, so
one?
this is something that I got from one of the attorneys. And so I looked into it. So the statute of limitations freezes if the person being accused or charged with the crime was continuously out of the state for an extended period of time. And that means, so you committed the crime, but then you left the state for 10 years. And then you come back. It's almost like the clock stopped. But how often was Trump in New York during his presidency and post-presidency? He's in New York all the time. So if they're going to try to claim that he was not living in New York, even while he was president, he was in New York. And since leaving the White House, he's been in New York. So they're going to lose on that. That is the first basis of this completely blowing up in their face, is the statute of limitations. It's going to be an impossible hurdle for them to prove. And any judge who isn't like crooked and slanted is going to look at this and say, you can't issue a parking ticket once the statute of limitations is up. You want to charge him with a Class E felony? And Jeremy, let's talk. How many people have been sent to prison in New York on a Class E falsifying business records felony charge in New York in the last 10 years? I don't even know if we could find one.
Yeah,
but we're going to put a former president in jail for that.
I just think that this is part of his. This is going to lead to his reelection. That's what's going to happen. This is going to lead to his reelection. That's all this is going to do. And I've heard the cope on the Democrat side when they say, no, what's going on is they want to make sure he gets the nomination because they know they can beat him. So that's what they're working towards. It's like, no, that's not what's happening at all. But you know, it's such nonsense. Let me catch a few of these super chats really quick. We got K Road for 10. I'm disgusted with Shapiro being the unofficial PR wing of the DeSantis campaign. He recently posted a video basically saying we shouldn't let our passions overtake us and only Ron can win. Yeah, I mean, you know how I've been about Shapiro lately. I'm kind of I've been criticizing him like crazy. Him and the whole Daily Wire pretty much for that matter. I'm kind of going to war with all conservatives at this point in time.
I was going to say, who aren't you battling yet?
Yeah, I'm just burning. I'll burn the whole thing down just as long as I'm just standing with Trump. That's it. So it's an important time now to stand with Trump, and I am taking no prisoners in that. So little Ben can keep crying about that, but it's going to be it's a losing battle that he's having right now. Let's see. Let me see. Ruben, there's that one. I got that one. Johnny the Whiz Kid. Will Suresh be at the FNT meetup? I want to meet him. Friday Night Tights meetup in Vegas, the 26th of this month. Suresh, the 26th. You going to be there?
I could try. I could try.
Hey, he might be there. Gerald Armstrong says it's a transfesto. Jeremy, stop being a bigot. And Big
I haven't heard that
Mike
one yet,
says,
actually.
Big Mike says trans Jengas are cray, obviously. Josie Pure Blood, as the media hyped Trump's illegal arrest. On the same day, Leonardo DiCaprio testified in court that $30 million was illegally funneled to Obama's 2012 campaign from a CCP national criminal. Cheers. What?
Did you see
Really?
that, Jeremy?
Jeremy,
tell me you haven't heard that story.
I have not heard it.
Okay, so so you remember the band the Fugees?
Yes.
With the
Lauryn
two
Hill.
dudes and Lauryn Hill,
Yes.
Wyclef and the other guy and Lauryn Hill.
Wyclef Jean and Lauryn Hill and the other dude. Yep.
And the other dude. Well, anyway, the other dude was, long and short of it is, and I read the story. The other dude was tied in with this businessman who essentially was some wacko from some out of this country, funneled money from China into the Obama campaign to the tune of $30 million. And somehow Leonardo DiCaprio was made privy of this, was told, essentially this whack job, some rich crazy guy told him this, and it was also confirmed, and it was done through this guy who was one of the members of the Fugees. And it's all out in court now. It's all out in court. So essentially, Barack Obama received over $30 million from a foreign entity, which is completely not allowed in obviously a presidential election. You're not allowed to receive a penny from a foreign entity. And not only did they do more than a penny, they funneled in $30 million.
That's fucking crazy. I'm looking
but
at
now
it now.
now we're talking about Trump and like $130,000.
This is insanity, dude. Holy crap. Like all of again, the only president to not start any new wars is the one that they have indicted. I'm looking it up now. So
mind you, pull up, because everyone here who's watching needs to see that headline. And this is what was the distraction. The Trump thing was the distraction.
That's exactly what the Trump thing is. Leonardo DiCaprio testifies in Fuji lobbying trial that financer Joe Low tried to funnel $30 million to Obama. Leonardo DiCaprio took the stand Monday in a federal trial of a prominent 90s rap artist accused of funneling money to a Malaysian financer who reportedly sought to donate tens of millions of dollars to President Barack Obama's 2012 re-election campaign. God damn. Dude.
You can't make this up, man. These people will get away with murder. These people are getting away with like serious 30 million. So if this is the one that is coming out now that they got caught. Jeremy, how many millions went to Barack Obama that we don't even know about?
And see, and this is why I continue to talk about what Trump did. Donald Trump defeated the Clinton crime family, the Bush crime family, the Obama transgender family. He defeated all of them. He defeated the mainstream. He defeated Hollywood. He defeated big tech. He defeated the Democrats. He defeated the Republicans. All of them were against him, and he still won. And yet you had people like the Obamas, like the Clintons, that are getting, and the Bush family, that are getting tens of millions, if not billions of dollars because look, like the reason I was so down on the Bush family was because I felt like the Iraq war was just the biggest load of bullshit I've ever seen in my life. And
it was.
The reason is so when the Iraq war was going on, I was working in retail and I had friends in the military that were overseas. And I had somebody tell me, he's like, I'm going to Iraq. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, I'm going to work for Halliburton. We're going to make $150,000. Just independent contractor work. I'm like, 150? He's like, yeah, not taxable, no taxes, 150 grand, bonuses for a year. You got to sign a year agreement. I'm like, soldiers are making like 30 grand right now to protect those people. So I'm going, if a random dude like me If a random dude like me who had no real experience in this field, if I can go and make $150,000, which is more money than I'd ever imagined I could make in a year.
Yep.
If I can do that, what are the politicians making? What are the bigwigs making off of this? War is a business. War, this is all about money. This has nothing to do with terrorism. And that's where I got my kind of awakening to the whole, like, politicians are the worst fucking people on the planet and they're all just pieces of shit. And at that point in time, I'm like, I hate the Bush crime family. I despise them. And so it made me despise the Republican Party, because I'm like, the Republican Party is horrible, but of course so was the Democratic Party. So yeah, that's really just where it just kind of really opened my eyes. And so of course, I don't know if you guys can you guys hear the Discord notifications? If you can, I'll close Discord, but let me know, chat, if you hear that. I hope you don't. If you do, I'll close Discord. But so that's why, like, Trump, like, how many tens of millions of billions of dollars did he cost all these people by not starting war?
Probably approaching $1 trillion. Yeah, that's why they hated him. He came in and was the great disruptor. The irony of all of this is, and someone said it the other day, they're like, the irony of all this, if you look at the facts, and you look at, especially now what just came out about Obama, but there was enough out there about Obama anyway. If you look at all the facts and you look at all the numbers, Trump was the only non-crook in this whole picture. When you go back to the Clintons and the Bushes and Obama, he's the only one that wasn't a crook in all this, and yet he's the guy in a courthouse in New York City right now. And well, obviously not right now, but like what they're doing to him right now. And you're saying, why would they do that? Because he's the one that didn't play the game. He's the one that didn't go in and say, I'm not playing this game. I'm not, hey, listen, anyone who knows anything knows war is a big moneymaker.
It's a massive
war
money
is
maker.
A huge moneymaker. And all these politicians, they get their pockets lined by, getting in bed with these different lobbies, getting in bed with these different people that are fun. Like, we shouldn't have politicians that go into politics and they are just like an average person with an average amount of money in the bank. And somehow 20 years later, they're multi-millionaires. Like, that happens on and let me say, this, Jeremy, it happens both on the right and the left. It happens both on the right and the left. We know it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't become a decamillionaire by being a politician.
Nope. And that's the thing. Trump lost money when he became a politician. Trump
that's
lost
confirmed.
Money.
That's confirmed.
Trump
lost money.
He lost maybe billions, but I know he lost hundreds of millions of dollars of net worth when he became president of the United States, which kind of goes back to my whole argument of this man loves this country. He doing it for the right reasons. Yes, he's arrogant. Yes, he has an ego. Yes, he thinks he's the greatest at everything. And that's why we fucking love him. And just like, did you hear that clip of him about the Bible? I mean, that was from years ago. Have you heard that one though?
No.
Oh my God, it's the most Trump answer ever. It's so perfect. Let me
pull it up. Oh, I gotta see it.
It's the most Trump answer ever. I love this dude so much. Here we go.
Okay. You mentioned the Bible. You've been talking about how it's your favorite book. And you said, I think last night in Iowa, some people are surprised to say that. I'm wondering what one or two of your most favorite Bible verses are.
Well, I wouldn't want to get into it because to me that's very personal. When I talk about the Bible, it's very personal. So I don't want to get into verses. I don't want to get into.
There's no verse that means a lot to you that you think about or cite.
The Bible means a lot to me, but I don't want to get into specifics.
Even to cite a verse that you like.
I don't want to do that.
You're an Old Testament guy or New Testament guy?
Probably equal. I think it's just an incredible. The whole Bible is an incredible. I joke very much. I always hold up the Art of the Deal. I said my second favorite book of all time, but I just think the Bible is just something very special.
Okay. Probably equal.
Who
says that? Who says
that? My
No, I don't want to talk about it. No, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. You think New Testament or the Old Testament? Probably equal. Now, I do think that there's some of that to where they were fishing for an answer from him.
They were.
They wanted an
They
answer.
were.
They wanted
Yeah.
an answer so that they could, and he knows that, but at the same time, I don't think he's some Bible scholar. You know what I
No.
mean? I don't think that
No.
at all.
No. Oh my
Probably
goodness.
equal.
Probably the present. Well, the old or the new. No, the present one. The one right now.
His
Oh my
answer is
goodness.
so perfect, dude. It's so perfect.
Uh,
Oh, but yeah. So somebody put that clip on the other day on. Did you see Alex Stein in New York?
No.
My boy Primetime 99.
Was he
Primetime
there-
99.
was he there
Always
for
on
the
the
indictment?
grind. Yes, watch.
So you guys won't even cover the real truth. You guys are a bunch of liars, a bunch of frauds. You guys are the real scum of the earth. Yeah, Hunter Biden's a crackhead. CNN, MSNBC, Hunter Biden and Joe Biden do illegal business deals in the Ukraine. Talk about that. Hunter Biden's a crackhead. The news will not cover that. Hunter Biden smokes crack. You guys can smoke all the crack you want. ABC News. Fake news. Oh, are you part of the fake news too? Yeah, Hunter Biden's a crackhead, guys. Y'all know Hunter Biden smokes
Oh my
crack.
God.
Oh, y'all don't want to say, what about the laptop? Remember y'all said that laptop was fake? Remember the laptop's real? Remember that laptop's real, guys. Y'all try to hide the laptop's real. So, guys, I'm saying this is a fake news media right here. All they do is lie.
He just keeps going.
This
It's
guy's
so good.
amazing. They're
It's
live
so
on air.
good.
They're live on air. He's going.
We got another special guest, ladies and gentlemen. We got another special guest to CobraCast IRL. It is Rolo, the Puerto
What up?
Rican pistolero. What's up, buddy?
I
How
always
are
thought
you?
I thought his favorite Bible verse was 2 Corinthians. Oh man,
my God. What's
You
going
got
on,
that,
brother?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, Suresh? Good to see you, bud.
Good to see you, man. We still got to put together a range day.
I know. We just got a new tactical shotgun. I got to take it out. I got a Beretta.
Let's go. Let's go.
Bro, we got Osmora just dropped 5 gifted D-Day Cobra memberships. Thank you, Osmora. And then Kevin just walked in the door. Ladies and gentlemen, Kevin just dropped 50 gifted D-Day Cobra memberships.
Wow.
50.
Love it.
50 gifted memberships. This man is a legend. We're up to 72 new members right now.
Love
So Rolo, I know you're pressed for time on. You got about 40 minutes with us, 30 or 40 minutes, because you're running our member stream tonight.
Yes.
So I don't know how much of the show you've listened to, or if you, but we got a bunch of craziness going on.
Where'd you guys start off? I heard Tennessee was getting pretty spicy today.
Yeah.
They,
So what did you hear about another transgender that got arrested for a mass shooting and a plot to kill Trump?
Whoa, I did not hear about that. When did that happen?
Today, a few hours ago.
I missed that.
So they arrested this transgender person, and they had a manifesto, and it had in the manifesto talking about targeting schools, churches, and Donald Trump. Yep. And this is coming off just a few days ago, which I was at the Mario movie when it happened, but didn't we get there was a woman at Trump Tower that was barricaded in or something like that?
Yeah.
I truly don't understand how Donald Trump exists. And what I mean by that is I don't know how he even has a conversation with another human being right now, because he's under so much scrutiny. You've got people barricading yourselves in his Trump Tower in Chicago. You've got a transgender weirdo got him plotting for his assassination in a manifesto. You've got Democrats illegally arresting him right now. Everywhere he goes, he gets prosecuted. It's insane. I have no idea how this dude actually functions. So
Yet the person they're building the case off of him on now owes him over $500,000.
Well, and she even said she came out earlier today and didn't she say I don't think that anything that I was involved with him raises up to a crime that requires jail time or anything like that. So and look, I mean, I don't know how Alvin Bragg can get away with basically saying here are the charges that we have, but we're not going to tell you what the crime actually is. We're just charging it, but he was doing something that was going to lead to another crime. Well, what's the other crime? Well, it's like, well, we're not going to tell you. Doesn't that violate the 6th Amendment? Besides, obviously, what you talked about earlier with the statute of limitations being over, you know, it's been 6 years already, so they're a year past due if they want to consider this a felony, which it's a bogus felony anyway. So I don't know.
And during the reading of the charges,
thinking.
it's coming from someone who was there. During the reading of the charges, when you read each count, you're supposed to read what the person actually did. So you read what the charge is. You know, falsifying business record, and then they say whereby Donald J. Trump did X, Y, and Z. So to you clarify how he broke that law, or you know where that charge is based on. They didn't do that for any of the 34 counts.
Nope.
So that, like I said, you do that in local municipal court. You do that when you go to municipal court in your local podunk small town. They do that, and they didn't do that for Donald Trump. Like, and then on top of it, like Rollo just said, this is all tied to a crime that essentially is a federal crime for the election. Federal Election Committee found nothing, and they didn't declare what those crimes are. They didn't name one. So you're saying that these misdemeanors are a felony because they were done in an attempt to commit a further felonious crime, but we're not going to tell you what that crime is.
No,
I don't think they have it. I don't think
they
know.
don't have anything.
I don't think they have it.
There's a reason why if the feds couldn't go after him with the power that, you know, obviously that comes with the FBI and the DOJ and everything involved with that, they couldn't impeach him twice. They couldn't do anything after this. They got nothing. They have nothing, which is incredible because you would think that somewhere along the lines, Trump made a mistake at some point in real estate business. They can say, oh, you forgot to fill out this permit for this hotel you built improperly, or you didn't pay this fee, a proper permitting fee, so we're going to get you on some bullshit like that. But they can't even get him on stuff like that you'd be like, oh yeah, I kind of would expect something like that. If you're running a business, you're going to probably forget something along the lines. They can try to get him on a technicality, but this is ridiculous.
It's so ridiculous.
Look, John Edwards basically got away with the same thing years ago. So I mean, this is going to be crazy.
Yep.
Yeah. They try to get him on this.
Hillary got away with the same exact thing, and she had a fine. She had a $108,000 fine. She spent almost $1 million on the Steele dossier. $1 million. She got caught. They said you can't spend $1 million on that of campaign money. The campaign got fined, so we know that was the campaign got fined as well. So we know that was a felonious thing because it was tied to a federal action. So the campaign got fined. So I don't know how they're even looking at this right now.
You know, it's just coming down to the point where I think, and look, a few DAs, I think one from Kentucky and one from Tennessee said they're going to try to go after Biden now. I think this is the point where we're at. You know, we don't live in a banana republic, but this is pretty much the only thing that we can do other than like, let's just go in the streets and start beating each other up. At this point, they have to start going after Biden. They have to go after Hillary. They have to go after Obama. And that's pretty much where we're at this point. You have to, if this is the game they're going to play, then it's got to be lawfare. Now, the problem is that the judiciary is sketchy, but that's why you need DAs that you know are going to be in good federal districts that are willing to take these cases up and have a judge that you think is going to be more impartial than obviously in New York, where you're not going to get a fair shake.
EHEF says, I think it's time we admit we're in a 5th generational civil war.
That's definitely, I think that's true.
Shout out to Tim Pool on that one. So Tim Pool will be happy.
Yep.
Tim Pool has spoken the Civil War into existence. But I think that, I don't know, man. I think that we just have too many gutless cowards on the conservative side. That's really what I think. And again, I'll come back to the whole idea of, and I lump Tim Pool into that too. Even though he's not a conservative by definition, he's still non-leftist is all I mean. If you're a non-leftist, there's too many gutless cowards as a non-leftist, because the left is unified in their hatred of Donald Trump. That's what unifies them.
Has Tim ever come out as conservative, or does he still deny that?
He doesn't say he's a conservative, but everything that he says at this point, especially lately, he's basically a conservative. I mean, or at least you could call him a classic liberal, which is kind of what conservatives or libertarians kind of trend towards.
Yeah.
So that's really what he is. And he voted for Trump, admittedly. He voted for Trump in 2020. He said he'll vote for him again.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I heard that. Yeah.
He's not as much of a fence sitter as he used to be.
Yeah.
So, but
we'll
he would say that he's an old school liberal.
He'll jump off the Trump train in a few weeks. He will. He always fucking does, just like they all do. When it's convenient for them, they'll jump on the Trump train and talk about how great Trump is. But then as soon as things calm down, they'll be like, "Well, Trump may not be the guy," and it's like, "No, shut the fuck up." Yes, like shut the fuck up. Trump is the guy. He's always been the guy, and that unifying hate of Donald Trump, that's what keeps the left together. Look, I'm gonna play this clip. I don't know if Suresh has ever seen this. Is one of the greatest clips in internet history, but I would advocate that I want to get this guy on CobraCast, and if I could get this guy on CobraCast, we will officially be the biggest show on YouTube, and I want him to be my co-host, and I want him to interview all transgender and gay people. All right, here we go.
We bring in the studio this morning one of the gay rights activists, Mr. Should I call you Mr? Pepe Julian Onzima. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for
Good morning.
Morning to you.
Why are you gay? You are a transgender.
Oh, wait, is this real?
No, this is real. This is real.
Oh.
This is real.
What
this
country
is,
is this in? Was this in like Ghana or Nigeria? I forgot.
This can't, obviously is Nigeria.
Uganda. I think it's Uganda. Yeah.
Thank you for
Oh
coming.
my God. Play that again. Play it again.
Why are you gay? You are gay. You are a transgender.
What shows that I'm gay?
You are a transgender, and you're a gay rights activist and an outspoken lesbian, homosexual. How can I describe you? Now we're looking at the raging debate. You're a gay rights activist. Why should someone be gay? You're having a girlfriend.
Yes.
Do you perform the natural obligations?
I'm not sexually active right now.
So what are
By
you doing with
choice.
this lady?
By choice.
By choice.
Yeah. I've just not. I've chosen not to engage.
Doesn't that make you gay?
What do you mean? Doesn't that make me gay? I am male and attracted to a female.
So who is gay?
I'm gay.
Holy shit, it's so good, dude.
Oh my God.
That's a real interview. That's a real interview.
Oh my God. That is
So who is
amazing.
gay? So who is gay?
So why are you?
Oh, it's classic, man.
You are
how
transgender.
have I lived this many years on Earth and not? You know how many hours I've spent on the internet? How have I not seen that clip?
Bro,
ever
that's
in
a
my life?
mega.
Classic, man.
That's a mega viral video. That particular clip has 28 million views.
Yep.
So
The Africans don't mess around, man. They don't beat around the bush. They're just like,
Well,
I don't understand what's going on here.
Rolla, was it Uganda that just pretty much just said you can't be gay or you're going to jail or something?
I think they did something like that, and I remember it was one of those countries. It was either Uganda or Nigeria, and like their prime minister was on a Western news station, and they're like, "Why are you like pushing like anti-LGBTQ policies?" And they're like, "We don't stand for this. Like these aren't our traditions in Africa. We don't believe in these things. Well, who are you as like a Western country coming here and trying to tell us what to do and how we do our how we make our laws or what our beliefs are? You're not any better than us." And it was pretty awesome to see that. I was like, hey, that's true. They love to talk about sovereignty and let's what do minorities believe in, and every culture is valid. I was like, well, why is that not valid? You guys say that every culture is valid in the entire world and that they're all equal. So why is this an issue to you guys? So that's how it is.
JM the Elite fan over on Rumble Rant says the best part of this "why are you gay" dude is he's not being mean or a jerk.
No.
He legit doesn't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what most normal people are like. Wait, why are you? You're gay? You're not gay? Who's gay? What? You know, like none of it makes sense.
Most people don't even care.
Yeah.
I mean,
this is story. Uganda anti-homosexuality bill, life in prison for saying This is a real story.
I believe it.
Life in prison for saying you're gay.
Holy cow.
Uganda. This just came out. By the way, this just came out. This is not like an old thing. Yeah.
That was crazy.
That is like, so that's like the complete polar opposite of Budweiser right now. And Anheuser-Busch.
Yes.
Wow.
Holy crap.
Wow.
Well, because the crazy part is like even like people don't get it. Like even Iran, okay, Iran, which is a country which will, basically execute people for being homosexual. They find it acceptable if a man is like, well, if you're gay, but if you transition to a woman, it's okay. Like they'll allow that. And I was like, this is the most bizarre thing that I've ever heard. Like, how is that? I was like, how do they reconcile that? But apparently that's how it works. Like,
that's
if
so
you transition, they consider you a woman now, and you're like, okay, well then you can be with a man. I was like, wow, that's you never thought that would happen there.
So, hey, Jeremy, you mentioned Carrie Lake before. Did you hear about the woman who worked for Katie Hobbs, what she said?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
The post she put up with the women with the guy. That was like hours after the Nashville shooting.
Yes, hours. And it just shows how unhinged these people are.
Well, the boldness is what's crazy, because if anybody on the right in the position of power would do that, I mean, she did get fired. Granted, they had her resign, but it would be an uproar, and they would be like, "See, it's going to be an insurrection. They're planning it right now everywhere." And it's like, meanwhile, we see all the crazies on Twitter all the time that this is pretty common language for them. That we'll use violence if we don't get our way. And it's like, well, no, that's what they say. That's what the left does. It's totally okay. It's totally normal. I was like, yeah, but they actually follow through a lot of times. Like, why aren't you paying attention to this?
Mm-hmm.
It's insane.
Yeah,
if anyone on the right did that or said that, they would be like, they'd be like asking for them to be like having in the chair, in the electric chair.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's what's it's like I don't care about like specific things about whatever. People do what you want, fuck who you want to fuck, whatever, believe what you want to believe, use whatever pronouns you want to use. When you start telling me that I have to accept, or if I have to do, or we have the whole the hypocrisy of, well, we're able to act like this, but you can't, or vice versa. It's such that the hypocrisy and the kind of focus of like trying to make you believe, like you can believe whatever you want. You just don't tell me what I have to believe, and the left is classic at that, where we're offended if you don't agree with everything we say. We're offended if you don't agree or believe or stand by every cause and it's just like, that's where the problem is. And of course they've overstepped so much now that it's to the point where we're just all having negative feelings about everything they do because of their own actions. Your own actions have put you in this position. Nothing else. You're not being, no one is just targeting you. You've targeted yourself.
Yep.
And people are just sick and tired of it. They're tired of it. And that's why it's all happening.
And look, people need to be realistic too. When you have people like, let's say like Dylan Mulvaney, who the guy is, okay, he changed the appearance of his face, but he hasn't gotten any other surgery. So you have a lot of people like that say, well, I'm the opposite sex, but you've done nothing to present as the opposite sex either. You've made no effort whatsoever. And then how dare you get offended at somebody when they address you as what you physically look like? It's like, you look like a dude. What do you want me to tell? And you are a dude, first of all, but you make no effort to make it seem like you're anything else. And then it's like, oh, you didn't use the pronouns. Now we're going to come after you. You're a bigot. And it's like, how the hell am I even supposed to know? How am I supposed to know?
When I was a police officer, we encountered this individual that from time to time, whenever you encountered them, they were a different person. So they had like this bipolar, multiple personality, whatever. And ultimately, all this person was saying when we dealt with them was that they were a different person. So one day you would, go see the guy walking around and he was like claiming he was Jeremy. Okay. And then the next day you'd see him and he's walking around and he's talking differently. He's acting differently. And he's saying, I'm Rollo. My name is Rollo. And then the next day you would see the guy and you'd say, oh, my name is Robert. And he'd be talking differently, acting differently. And ultimately they threw that guy into the mental hospital.
Yeah.
Now that was only because he was talking differently. He was talking differently and saying he was a different person's name. That was not too many years ago.
Mm-mm.
And now look where we are.
Yep.
Now look where we are. We're at this point where, like you just said, you haven't done anything. You know, you haven't done the surgeries. You haven't transitioned. You still have male genitalia. You have some of these people have beards. They have beards, right? You see that one guy? He's kind of creepy looking, and he has the makeup on, and he's
like a bearded lady,
but he has a beard, and it's like so I'm like, what is happening here? And just a few years ago, we were throwing people in the mental hospital because they were saying that a different day they were a different person's name.
Yep.
Now we're like on the whole different spectrum, and it's like, and if you don't 1000% accept that, now you're the bad guy, and you're you're the transphobe. You're the like, no, I'm not transphobe. I just don't quite get what's happening right now.
This is what's always been a problem. I feel like it's been a problem in the U.S. since World War II, where it's that people have become more knowledgeable so they can acknowledge things that have happened in the past, and we go to extremes. So it's like, for a long time, obviously women couldn't vote. They didn't have the same rights. And then, we gave them equal rights. They had the right to vote. It wasn't until the 70s that a woman could get a credit card on her own without having a man sign up for that. We went through all of that, but then we went to the extreme where we started lifting women up at the expense of men in schools. So that's why you saw men's performance in education deteriorate, because we overcompensated. We're like, we have women coming to the education system. They haven't had these opportunities, so we have to, cater to them to somewhat and create an environment where they can thrive. But they went to the opposite extreme, and we created an environment where men no longer can thrive. That's why you see women graduating from college at higher rates and things like that. So we always do this overcorrection. Same thing with civil rights. We got through that. We went through the sin of slavery, segregation, all this stuff. But now it's like, now we have to overcompensate to the point where if a black person is clearly racist towards a white person, that's not treated as if it's racism. Racism can only go from the white direction to another race. Can't go the other way, even though that's the reality of the situation. So this is what they always do. They overcompensate, they overcorrect. And then they always have a new grift to find. So all these civil rights organizations, when they get their goal, those guys, they're used to making the grift. They're like, oh man, this demographic has equal rights now. Now I got to find another victimized race or demographic. And they keep going to smaller and smaller extremes because this country already has equal rights for everybody. So they have to find and make things up. So after gay marriage, it's like, well, now we got to help the trans people and all this stuff. And it's like, they're going further and further to each niche extremes and then becoming more extreme publicly with it. Whereas in the past, it was like, just want gay marriage. Just gay people live like a normal straight people. And we're like, okay, that's fine. Like, that's not a big deal. But then they took that and they're like, nope, the slippery slope fallacy, it's not a fallacy. We're actually going to prove that you guys were right all along. We're going to go all the way off the cliff.
You are 100% right. You're 100% right. See, guys, I told you, Rello knows his stuff. He's not good at Fortnite, but he's good at talking. I'm kidding. He's really good at Fortnite too. He's not good at Mario Kart. That's what he's good
not
at.
as good. Not nearly. I'm not the worst. I'm not the worst. I'm like in the middle. Not that great.
He's a little bit better than Krista, so we'll leave it at that.
He's not Old Testament. He's not New Testament. He's in the middle.
He's in the
I like
probably
them both. I like them both.
equal. Probably equal. God, so funny, man.
Oh, man.
So let me get back to some super chats. We got the last one I read was Joe C's, and that was about the whole Leonardo DiCaprio thing. This is crazy. All right, as is wonky eyebrow. That's a trans man. That's a trans man. Video was gold. Yes, that was the it is ma'am. Mav Dick, don't use their pronouns. Call them what they are.
Absolutely.
Let's see, Mav Dick, don't be a libertarian. Don't respect these guys. Let's see. Ichago, quote, an orange man with a gold mane bullied the elite class to such an extent that they collapsed their own empire out of spite. John Doyle. Giants fan. Hey, is it me or does Corinne Jean-Pierre look like Sideshow Bob's dark-skinned relative? Meme Nation, get to it. Legion of Memers, there you go. There you go.
How does she have a job still? I don't even know.
Yeah, it was a Biden administration. Marquand, the leftist collectives hate those that deflect the most. Understanding, of course, one wrong opinion is enough to defect. Moral objection. No pre-crime. You want to keep loonies away from guns. Put them in asylums again. Let's see. Mav Dick. Okay, Mav. So this is the part, Suresh, where you triggered the chat. So,
yeah, I know. Everyone got all up in arms.
Yeah, Mav
I
Dick,
came up with a
hell
last
nah,
ditch
Suresh.
scenario before you take our guns away, and everyone's like, ah.
So yeah, basically he mentioned Rolo, you're gonna love it. So he mentioned databases.
Oh yeah. I got news for you. They already have one, even though it's illegal. They already have a
Thank you.
database.
Thank you, Rolo.
Yeah,
Thank
I hate
you
to
for
tell
everyone who's butthurt. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, do we want them to legally enact one? No, but they already have one. They're going to deny it. The ATF is not allowed to have a database. They don't care because who runs the ATF? It's part of the executive branch. There's no accountability there, man. Come on, they can do whatever they want.
Show they do what they want.
I don't even know. I don't even know how these government organizations can exist. Like the executive branch organizations, how they can even exist within the Constitution. Like it's crazy to me. Like I don't see how that is not overreach of the executive branch, because now you've given the executive branch all of these different organizations, even from the EPA, the FBI, all of that, Homeland Security. How do they not fall under some other jurisdiction? How have they not expanded the power of the executive, especially when they can create regulations on a whim? They have the force of law. Like, to me, that should never have happened. I don't even know how we got there in the first place. Well, I know how we got there. We got there because Congress and the executive branch got tired of the federal government being too weak for about 150 years. And they said, you know what? This is a pain in the ass. Now we've got communications like telegraph and all this stuff. We can actually run this country almost in real time. Why don't we have the power to do it? And that's what they did. It started with to me, it started with the Militia Act. Well, it started after Reconstruction, when the federal government basically was like, Civil War, this was a big problem. We're not going to let the states have this much power anymore. Then they had the Militia Act, which basically created the National Guard, which is not what the militia is supposed to be, if we're being perfectly honest. That's
exactly what it was based off of. Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. So now it's under federal jurisdiction. So it's like, well, the militia doesn't exist anymore. So the people are the militia, and the federal government created some other thing called the National Guard. And then ever since then we got taxation, obviously, and with Woodrow Wilson and all that good stuff. And then it's been a slow collapse. Then the feds took everyone's gold away in the 1930s. And then we had the Fed get created after the World Wars. And then that was kind of it. And then the gold standard. So that's the collapse of America and the empowering of the federal government.
Which just ended, by the way. People have no idea. It essentially just ended. Yeah,
Yeah.
this week. While everyone's watching Trump walk down a hallway in New York, we had how many countries walk away from the dollar? And we're like,
a ton of them.
Yeah, and it's like it's not a news story. It's not a news story.
No.
The dollar just collapsed right in front of our eyes.
Yeah, and then you see the EU saying they've got their cryptocurrency they're going to come out with. The Fed's going to come out with their own crypto, and then that's it. That's how it's going to be.
Are you guys trying to get Rolo kicked from the show? Because if you say Rolo 2024, I'll turn on anybody. It's Trump 2024, baby. That's it.
Oh man.
Oh god.
GJJ just dropped 5 gifted memberships. We were up to 78 memberships now on the night. Can we hit 100 before the stream is up?
100.
We will see. All right, let me go through where Suresh is getting roasted. Let's see. Hell no, Suresh. Docs shouldn't decide my rights. Mav Dick, Suresh is glowing like a Fed right now.
That's me.
Twisted Boy.
Full fan.
Abuse and child abuse is also celebrated. Scott McKenzie, hell no on mental health database. Slippery slope. You trust the government or mental health professional? Wow, huge not understanding of 2A. Get Rolo's perspective. So Rolo, obviously Suresh understands 2A,
of course,
just a little bit.
But what was
just
controversial? Suresh told them the truth. It's not that Suresh endorses a database. He's just telling you that it exists, and unfortunately, that's it. We're done when it comes to certain things. What I've learned over the last few years in my kind of political awakening is that there are certain things you can fight for, but you have to know that in some cases you already lost them. You just haven't heard it yet. And the gun database is one of those things that we already lost. It doesn't mean that we don't fight. It doesn't mean that we don't have We don't push politicians to be accountable, and hopefully we get a president that takes away, that basically audits the federal government and, strips the power from these executive branch organizations. But you just need to be aware where the deck is stacked against you and the knowledge that they have. Now, there's a lot of stupid and incompetent people in the federal government too, so sometimes they don't wield that power intelligently. But I'd rather take away their power than to hope that they're too stupid to use it against me.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's one of these things. I mean, it's a very, very divisive topic for sure. And I totally understand, there's a ton of passion with it for sure. And so, it is what it is. I'm so far behind. So Lord Plagazi, what would stop left-wing therapists who hate guns from denying people gun permits?
That's a great point. That's a great point, because you don't know if they ever got to that point. You don't know if some anti-gun crazy liberal therapist, has to write a recommendation. Like I said, if they got to that point where they went to your mental health professional and said, "Hey, does this guy Rolo, should he own a weapon?" And if they're just anti-gun, whether you're okay to own a weapon or not, they say, "Yeah, no," and they check off no, then you're done. You're done. Yep. But like we all know already, we already know they've flagged certain people. The FBI has flagged certain people. My buddy's wife got flagged because she was promoting canning and jarring food on Facebook. Canning and jarring food, and they said that was prepping, and they labeled her like some kind of terrorist prepper. So anyone who thinks that they don't have this information already and they're not already kind of doing things like this, I think there's some people who slip through the cracks, and I think there's some people that they just don't pay attention to. But they already know. Rolo, you weren't here, where I said they know every American that's on some kind of psych medication. They already know. Yeah. They know everyone who's on Xanax and whatever, all that other crap. They know, Yep. So before they took our guns away, and because that's what they're going for. They're going for taking everyone's guns away. Everyone, doesn't matter who they're taking for. If you're going to take a stand and say, all right, these are crazy people who are doing these mass shootings. They're mentally ill. Why don't we focus on the mentally ill people instead of doing a sweeping and no one can have the guns?
Yeah, I mean,
and look at the government incompetence. I think it was this week that the Biden administration had to pay out, it was either 115 or 150 million dollars to the families of the victims in Sutherland Springs, because the shooter there, he was mentally discharged from the Air Force, and the Air Force never updated the federal background check system to say, yeah, this guy can't own a gun. We already know, this dude he's bad news. And guess what? The feds, again, they had a law there. The law did not work as intended, as many laws do, because there's too many of them, and the bureaucracy is just way too thick at this point. There's too many points of contact with all this stuff, and it gets lost in the shuffle. So this guy bought a gun he wasn't supposed to, according to their laws, and this happened. Now, our taxpayer dollars are paying. First of all, innocent people died that shouldn't have, and second of all, the taxpayer's on the hook for the incompetence of the federal government, but the federal government blames us for the fact that they suck at their job. That's how it always is.
That's how it always is.
Yeah.
And every time they make a decision, and it's just like on a bigger scale, but every time they make a bad decision, taxpayers get punished for it. They're never held responsible for anything.
Never. Now I will say this: they will never be able to confiscate the guns in the United States. They won't.
Too many.
There are 3 million people in the armed forces, maybe another 3 million law enforcement, and there are probably 150 million people that own firearms in this country. If the U.S. was stuck in Afghanistan for 20 years of fighting against a couple 100,000 dudes, they will never be able to do anything in the United States. Why? Because logistically it would be impossible. First of all, that offensive force is going to become a defensive force very quickly, because if truckers decide not to feed blue cities, the military is going to have to do an airlift to bring in supplies. That you're taking up half of the military right now, or the majority of it, just to do that. And you don't even have to get into a fight after that. That's it. You can just wait it out, and the military is going to be forced to do that. So if they think they can get away with this, that's why they went after the truckers so hard in Canada, because they knew logistics are how you win a battle, how you win the war. That's it. If you cannot supply your troops, if you can't give food and fuel to people, you're done. Doesn't matter the weapons that you have, you're going to run out of ammo at some point, or your people are going to be too tired to fight. That's kind of what happened to Russia in the first couple of months there in Ukraine. Their logistics were terrible, so they failed right away.
It's amazing how with Russia, you're not supposed to be mean to any other country or nationality or anything like that. But Russia, USA just shits on them all day long, makes up fake narratives about them all day long. I mean, I'm no advocate for Russia, but from the crowd that tells us about preaching tolerance and all of that, they sure love to talk bad about Russia all day long. Kevin just dropped 20 more gifted D-Day Cobra memberships. We are at 98 for the day, ladies and gentlemen. 98. That is fucking awesome. I love it. I appreciate you guys so much. And let's see.
Bro, I just want to correct you on one thing.
Oh, yeah.
3 million military, there's only roughly 900,000
even less
in this country.
Less than that. Wow. I thought there were
900,000. So
is that an updated number?
That's a more recent number, 900,000. And of that 900,000, how many are actually out on patrolling,
half of them are logistics and back end stuff.
Admin and things like that. So it would be a very bad day if they obviously tried to do that. And it's
plus you have to count that a significant percentage, maybe even half of those both in the military and police are going to be like, oh, yeah, we're not doing this because you're going to take away our guns too. We own guns in our private lives, so I'm not going to do that. And there's actually this case of an LAPD officer, I think earlier this week, that he had an AR-15 that wasn't California compliant. So the judge threw the book at him and we're like, we're setting an example. You're a cop, doesn't matter. You can't own that here in California either. It's an assault weapon. It's dangerous.
It's insane. I got to tell you, I was a little surprised at how many cops, like, I don't want to say folded, but kind of folded during the whole COVID thing with like enforcing like the stupid shit. I was so surprised at how many cops I saw out there enforcing those stupid mandates and the stupid things that weren't even law. They weren't even a law and they were enforcing it. It really, it kind of, made me like take a second look and see that I think when it comes down to it, they were looking at their own survival and their own paycheck. And they were like, listen, I need a job. I need my paycheck. I need to feed my family. So I'm going to enforce this stupid mandate on these innocent people who don't have a mask on their 2-year-old and lock them up because if I don't, I'm getting fired and I lose my job and I can't feed my family. So I was shocked at how many police officers went what I thought is the other way during the pandemic.
I definitely wasn't shocked. I've never been a kind of the back the blue Second Amendment guy because I know in Florida who's enforcing the red flag laws. It's all the police officers, and none of them opposed it. And every time you see a constitutional carry bill, what do you see? You see the Brotherhood of Police or the sheriff's organization in that state fighting back against it and saying, no, civilians should not be able to carry firearms without a permit. I've been seeing this for years as we've seen constitutional carry pass through this. So when COVID happened, I was like, this is the status quo here. This is what we've always expected to happen because we've seen it happen throughout history. Unfortunately, okay, here's another thing. I've gone to a lot of Florida carry events, and they have a lot of former law enforcement there, and they've been, pro Second Amendment advocates, and they kind of told us this. And Suresh, maybe you can probably speak to this too. Being a former police officer, police officers obviously don't know all the laws in their state. There's way too many that they have to enforce, but they really don't know gun laws. And he said the police academy in Florida, there's probably one page that talks about the general gun laws, but most police officers don't actually understand the Second Amendment. He's like, they don't. And so they'll arrest people when they have a gun legally because they think people shouldn't have guns or that they're unaware of this. So this is pretty common as far as I'm concerned. And how many police officers have you seen that could barely qual on a pistol? And you can go to random Joe Smo on the range and half those guys probably would shoot a better qual than the cops that going every year. So, I mean, unfortunately, 100%. I'm not surprised about this. And I've also heard it from a lot of other police officers that were like, I was out after COVID because I saw what these guys were doing and nobody else was going to back me up if I didn't if I follow the Constitution. So I was like, I'm out, man. Like, I don't want to be involved with that.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate.
The just following order crew was kind of scary.
Yeah.
Bradley says I'm in over my head right now. I could catch a bigger bass than you have in that picture. And no, I'm this is a great conversation, and it's why I want these guys here, because we're all about having good conversations, and I'm the reason Rolo's here, so you all get to listen to him. And you should be subscribed to Locked and Loaded Latinos, where you can hear more from Rolo and the situation with Suresh. Look, I got 12 minutes. I'm not going to be able to get through all these super chats because we got this member stream, but I'm going to read as many as I can. And here's what I'm
actually going to bail out and get ready for that.
So Rolo's going to host this over on Geeks and Gamers Play. It's our member stream. What I'm going to do, I'm going to get through as many as I can. So Rolo, first of all, you go ahead, bounce. Thank you for popping in. I'll see you on the
great
stream
talking
here
to
in
you,
a bit.
man.
I'll see you soon.
Yep. Talk to you guys later.
So Rolo, go ahead over there, and I'll join you in a bit. So I'm going to read super chats for the have a good buddy, and subscribe to Locked and Loaded Latinos. I'm going to read some super chats, and then we'll see how many I get through. If I can't get through all of them, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go live again tonight as soon as the stream is over, the member stream, so I can catch up on those and give you another CobraCast, because I owe you anyway, since I fucking forgot last night because I was so tired. Because I feel like I really feel bad about that, but I love this audience so much. We're over 100 members because of Juggernuts with 5 gifted memberships. So now we're over 100 new members tonight. So I really do appreciate you guys. And I feel really, really bad about not streaming last night. So tonight I'll go live, so I'm going to end this stream soon. I'm going to go live with Geeks and Gamers Play. We're going to play some games with our premium members from the website. And then as soon as that ends, I'm going live again for a follow-up CobraCast to catch up on all super chats and continue to talk with all of you. How does that sound, chat? Is that okay? Is that okay?
Animal.
Because I fucking owe you guys for fucking up last night. So I am sorry for that, but I will try my best to repay you. So thank you guys. Let's see. Matt says, truth, I'm in Canada and our government is crazy. That new video that they put out yesterday about arresting people that misgender is insane. It's unbelievable. Lord Plagueis says the medical establishment cannot be trusted anymore. I agree with that to a certain extent. Optimus Jedi, come and take it. Hayden, arm everyone. Every person gets a gun at 21 and constitutional carry. Problem sorts itself out soon. Hey, that's kind of been my attitude on, like, you know, because I don't drink, I don't do drugs, I don't do any of that stuff. But I've always said, like, just make them all legal. Let the problem work itself.
Florida? You see Florida? They're like taking away, or they're trying to vote to take away concealed carry permits. So anyone can just carry concealed anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So the value in that is you never know who's carrying. So it prevents some shitbag from walking in somewhere, because the second he pulls out a gun to rob someone or whatever, he's going to have 9,000 bullets in him, because everyone could be carrying. So that's the value there if you look at it that way. But no one in the chat has answered, if someone is legit mentally ill, mentally fucked up, how do we prevent that person from getting a gun?
Well, how do you
Like
determine
serious
they're
mental
mentally ill
illness?
But what's the determining factor on if they're mentally ill?
Well, like the people we're seeing, like the crazy guy who walked into the movie theater with the green hair and shot up the place.
Well, no, but there's got to be like, so again, so it's almost like anything in my opinion. So, and again, I'm speaking from probably ignorance because this is your world and Rolo's world. But so the whole argument of not giving up even certain guns is because it establishes a line, right? So it's like, we're not going to give up any, because once we give up some, then that line just keeps creeping in. So once you establish that mental illness is the line, well, what determines mental illness? And then once that line is established, that line will continue to move, and to the point where you voted for Trump. You're mentally ill. Give me your gun. I think that's the argument. Right. So that's the argument.
The question is, in our society, we have some people who are mentally ill. We see this crazy, whatever, male, girl, boy, she, he, that went into this Christian school and killed 3 9-year-olds and killed 3 adults. This person was mentally fucked up. Okay. This is a person that I don't think anyone in the world will say should have had a gun. They were mentally ill.
Right.
How do we prevent these nut jobs, these people, because they're the ones that we have to be concerned with, right? How do we prevent that nut job?
We do, but I feel like the bigger enemy is the government than the mentally ill person. So I subscribe to the school of fuck around, find out. And so it's like, if you're mentally ill and you decide to try to go shoot up a place, a good guy with a gun is going to make sure that that either doesn't happen, or the good guy with a gun is going to limit the casualties. But ultimately, in the bigger scheme of things, I feel like if everyone has a gun, then there are far more good people with guns than bad people. And those bad people will not feel as confident to try and go do things when they know. It's like, you come to it. Listen, we talked about this. You know this. You were at the beat up in Florida. You know,
Yeah, oh yeah.
I guarantee you come to that event, you're going to fuck around and find out. If you came to that event with the intent to harm people, you were not going to get anything done, because I had private and public security there. And so if people care enough, then they'll do it. So like me, I'm a nobody. I spent $20,000 on the event that I put out for the fans. I charged no one. Okay. I charged no person. You remember this. And I spent
That was incredible. Incredible.
I spent $20,000 of my own money to put that event on. And and that's including all the security I hired. Why did I do that? Because I cared about the people that were coming there, and I cared about myself, and I cared about our security and our safety. So I put money out to make sure that we weren't going to be fucked with. And I know there's crazy people that hate me. And so I decided, you come here and fuck with us, you're going to get your fucking head blown off. That's essentially what was happening. So I hired cops to sit out front to set a standard of, we have police officers and we also have private security. So you're not going to fuck around. So you can be as mentally ill as you want. I promise you that mental illness, you're going to get real smart when you see cops and security everywhere. And you're probably not going to come into my establishment. And I think every individual should take on that responsibility to make sure you set a precedent that we're not going to allow you to come in our place and do this. And that
So
right now,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
well, right now we have these truly mentally ill people, and they're preying upon schools with no security because they know they can get away with it.
Yep.
So set a standard, put a good guy with a gun there, and make sure the next person that goes into that school gets their fucking head blown up before they can even pull the gun out. That's the standard that you set. And eventually that mental illness is going to start going away, and these people are going to stop doing it when they get their head blown off. So that would be my standard of it. That would be my answer. Good guys with guns. Good.
So your standpoint is, there's no way to ever 100% prevent crazy lunatics like this transgender thing that went in and shot. There's no way to ever 100% prevent that person from getting a gun and trying to do something stupid. So the only resolve is, don't worry about keeping the gun out of their hands. Just put someone there that's going to make them think twice and make them realize that if they try to pull some stuff, their life is going to be ended. They might be able to take out a couple of people, but their life is going to end very quickly.
Yes. So what mentally ill people are, and I'm putting quotation marks on that, they are basically the puppy that pees in the floor. So what do you do with the puppy that pees in the floor? You spank his ass. And guess what? He pees again, you spank him a little bit harder. Eventually that puppy starts peeing in the floor. So right now we have all these fucking lunatics that feel like we could just identify as whatever we want, and we can get away with whatever we want, and we can play fake victims anytime. And the fucking crazy man in the White House is going to hire us because they all have our back. We have to set a standard to let them know, you're not going to get away with this shit. And right now we live in a society and in a political climate that makes these people feel like they can get away with this shit. We need to set a standard to let them know, you're not going to do it. So if you go into our schools and you try to attack our children, you're going to get your fucking head blown off. That's what I think. And once you implement that standard, you're going to see a different approach moving forward. And so that's kind of how I look at it. And then eventually, if you give everybody the option to have guns, then you can have the left-wing lunatics go, hey, we don't want guns. Well, guess where the weirdos are going to go? where there are no guns and they're going to blow your fucking place up. And that's what's going to happen. So that's how I look at it. That's how I look at it.
They're going to focus on the gun-free zones and the security-free zones, and they're going to focus on going into those places because they know they're going to be it's going to be a free-for-all in there. And by the way, there's actually I forget who did the research, but if you look at carjacking rates in cities and states that are strong gun laws, like Chicago, and then you look at the rates in states that have concealed carry, it's almost zero. Why is that? Because you're not going to try to carjack someone who might be carrying a gun, because they're going to just blow your head off through the window and keep driving.
Right. You know, and yeah, I mean, like, look, man, it's terrifying. Like, what was that thing that guy in, was it New York or Boston? It was up north. It was like this Twitch streamer guy, and he like streamed the whole thing. He went to a grocery store and he just started like, I don't remember what the backstory, but I watched the video once, and
Buffalo.
Yes, it was Buffalo.
Yeah,
man, that was a rough video to watch, man. That was a rough video to watch, and
mentally
I saw that,
ill,
and of course,
mentally ill,
yeah,
mentally
I
ill,
worked,
psychopath.
yeah. And I worked in a grocery store, you know, for a long time, obviously. And so seeing that was just like, man, these people just went to work one day, just going on about their day. And again, if a armed security guard, a good guy with a gun, would have been there, I'm not saying it doesn't.
There was. That was the first guy he killed. That was the first person I believe he killed, was the security guard there.
And so, and I know that, and what I was literally about to say is, like, I know it doesn't 100% mean that we're never going to have casualties and we're never going to have bad situations, you know what I mean? But it severely limits that. I don't know if the story is true. I heard that there was this Nashville transgender shooter. The reports were that this person was going to go to one school, but because they had security, they didn't. I don't know if that's true. Chat, you can tell me if it's true. But they were reportedly going to go to one school, but that school had security, so they decided not to, and they went to another one. Now I don't know. Chat,
she went to this school, right? She actually went to the school she went to as a kid, right?
Yes. Yeah. From reports I'd heard, but the problem is the media has been very it's very loose or very tight on what they wanted to. All right. So a lot of people tell me that is confirmed. So let's see. Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of people are saying that is confirmed. So she was going to go to one school, and then she decided, no, that one has too much security. I'm going to go to this other one. And yeah. And that just shows you, like, it can have an impact. It's not, we don't live in a perfect world. Life is not perfect. People are going to die. Tragedies are going to happen. The idea is to limit those tragedies, if at all possible, without punishing the rest of the good people out there and putting them in a situation where their rights can be infringed upon. That's kind of how I view it. And so, but that's just, you know, that's how I look at it. And so that would be the answer.
Yeah. I mean, listen, you know me, and you know my feeling on guns. I've been shooting guns since I was 7 years old, and my feeling is more good guys with guns, the better. I'm a big proponent of people who are like, yeah, you know, they're a good guy, they support the Second Amendment, and I say, do you carry? You can get a concealed carry permit. Do you care? Oh no, I don't want to go that far. And I'm like, you might want to go that far, because you never know when you're at the grocery store that day, or you're driving past the school when that thing is going down. You know, so I tell people, if you can legally carry concealed, why aren't you? Why wouldn't you?
Oh,
you could be the one to save the day somewhere.
Let's see. Hang on. Tanner says, I hope Jeremy gets his teeth knocked in for being such a pompous, whiny man baby. I mean, I've announced about 5 public meetups in the past year. I haven't seen your bitch ass at any of them. So, you know, I mean, at some point in time, grow some fucking balls or continue to talk shit on the internet. But at the end of the day, I just highlighted your comment because I'm going to make more super chats out of it. I'm literally roasting you. I am going to make more money off of you than you can in the next 10 minutes because you are a pathetic loser. And whenever you kiss your mom and you might taste a little bit of tingling, that's just some Jeremy juice. Because she swallows, but she didn't swallow all the way. So go fuck yourself. On that note, we just got $100 super chat. Look at that, Tanner. Tanner, we just got $100 super chat.
Boom.
Tanner, we just got a $20 super chat and a $5 super chat. Tanner, you must be so fucking mad right now. Tanner, what are you thinking right now? Understanding that I just used your stupidity to monetize you. How does it feel right now knowing that you are a pathetic loser? How does it feel? This is what
you live for it. I love it.
I got a live video of Tanner right now. What just happened? This is Tanner right as he made the comment and then as I read it. Damn! Damn, Tanner. Damn.
Oh God. Oh my God.
Oh, the Tanner leave. The Tanner leave. All right. $100 super chat from how do I say this? Zuli? Thank you for the $100 super chat. The reason why people target schools or churches for these shootings is because they know no one there has a gun, making it a soft target because of that. While if they go to like say town hall, they don't, because it's hard target because they know who has a gun or not. And I understand 100% on that. And then you also sent a 20. So really the best solution is give everyone the right to an arm, making everything a hard target to add that unknown of who has a gun and who doesn't. And like for me, like when I do public stuff, I try to go to like I said earlier, Universal or something like that, because I know that they have security. So I know that no one there can do anything to me unless it's a crazy scenario. Like, could someone get a gun at Universal into you? Yeah, I'm sure they could. I think a guy actually got through the Disney security once, like about a year ago.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah, which is shocking because
That's
Disney,
scary.
well,
Yeah.
again, Disney used to have top tier security, and then they've gone down the social justice rabbit hole. And let's just say they're not hiring their best anymore. But yeah, so I mean, I know that I'm in that environment, and I know that I can control whatever happens within reason. I know no one's going to come in there with that. So, and so, yeah, I mean, it's security is important, and even the idea of security is important. And, you know what I mean? Just making people understand that we are secure here. We have people here. Maybe you don't have them all out there. Maybe you have one person here, but you have other undercover people. Just like so, little stuff like that. That's the way I look at it. We got no. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I said
No,
there should be one. There's no reason why we don't have armed security in every school in this country. The fact that we don't is a complete travesty. They got armed people at the gas station down the road guarding the Doritos and the Monster energy drinks at night. So I mean, come on, it's absolutely just get a guy with a gun at the door, front door and back door of every school. Done.
Yes. Yeah. It's easy, man. It's nothing to it. Ashen Rose for $19.99 says, this is for you, Tanner. That's another $20, Tanner. $20. Here's Tanner. He's back. Hey, remember when Jeremy made 100 videos on Brie Larson for being a person? Tanner, I made 200. You dumb fuck. So learn how to count. Okay. And I'll make 150 more if I feel like it. And there's nothing you can do about it. So if you're going to count my videos, make sure you count them all. Or maybe you can't count that high, but I certainly can. For the Emperor, $9.99. For Tanner. Tanner,
oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
I see you, Lost Tales. Lost Tales, where are you at? It's called grifting, and Jeremy is the best. Yes. Tanner needs to stop going to drag shows.
Oh.
Tanner is a retardo. Tanner, fight me.
Now you got to do a Brie Larson video. Now you need a Brie Larson video.
I'm literally gonna do a Brie Larson video now. So, oh my God, Tanner is still in the Brie Larson era of Jeremy. Yeah, like holy shit, I've moved on. Like, I've made like about 100 Trump videos too. So, but that's more recent, bro. So anyway, God, it's so fun. It's so
It's so
fun.
amazing. It's so amazing.
Let's see. Anthony for 10 says the Super Mario movie with a 10 out of 10. I went to see it yesterday. Not a Mario fan, but a very good movie. I played a couple of Mario games back in the day, and it's going to make $1 billion. I think so. I love the movie. I'm very happy with the movie. It's a phenomenal movie, and I'm really happy. And it's family friendly. It's just a family friendly movie that kids can go watch. And if you're a Mario fan, you're gonna love it. It's definitely geared towards kids and just hardcore Mario fans. And I think it's gonna make $1 billion. I really, really do. Holy Nutfoot says we should introduce Tanner to Linda Crowder. Hail Jeremy, hail Suresh, Snake Pit for life. Come get some pizza sometime, Jeremy. I'm in St. Pete. Hey, thank you. I'd love to go to St. Pete sometime. I've been to the Tampa area a few times already. I'd love to go back.
Beautiful. Great beaches in St. Pete, by the way. Great beaches.
Mm-hmm. Darth Who says Tanner equals lame. Barely worth the $2. Tanner, why? What did you think was going to happen, bro? What did you think was going to happen? The Smoking Patriot for $4.99. Problem is, depending on mental health professionals, is risky because they could secretly be anti-2A. Wu Flu showed docs will side with agenda easily. That's a good point.
100%. Good point.
Suresh knows that better than anybody. Nighthawks member message. Keep on keeping on. Thank you. My nervous boner. Rumble Trump speech reaction stream still missing. Huh? So on Rumble, the Trump reaction speech is not there. All right, I'll have to look into that. It could have got hung up. I'll have to look into that. Thank you for the info. Johnny Whiskers, Jeremy, I know you asked this before and you said you would watch it on your personal time, but I would like Suresh's take on it. Would it be possible to play the video I posted in the Snake Pit? I tagged you on it. Obviously, I can't do it right this second, Johnny, and I don't know if you're going to be on the member stream, but I gotta get over to that member stream here. I'm about 10 minutes late already. But I will be back live a little bit later. And we'll do this, and I'll catch up on all this. I'm trying to read a few more before we go. Hayden75, it's an NYC court. They may lock him away anyway. His next hearing is in December, right around primary. This could get ugly no matter how fake. I mean, again, I think the whole point is to drag him down. It's to drag him down. Zool. There's only one. Zool is the best way. There is only Zool. Got you. Is the best way to pronounce my name. Also, there is a reason why having guards don't work either, as they have no obligation to actually protect anyone other than themselves. That is why they are allowed to run if there's a gun. Yeah, it's about the imagery that it presents, though. So it can be a deterrent. You know what I mean? It can be a deterrent. It doesn't mean it's going to always be that. It's not 100% answer, but I hear you on that. And thank you for another very generous super chat. $50. Thank you. Zool.
Oh. There is only one Zool. Makes a great point, because there is only one Zool, probably remembers Parkland, where the police officer ran.
Yes, that's true. That is true. There's only Zool. I said it wrong. So there's only Zool.
There's only Zool.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But thank you, man. I appreciate that. And you're right. It's not an automatic. There's no answer that's going to cure all the problems. Okay, so here's what we're going to do, okay? Unlike Tim Pool, I'm not going to end the stream and just say F your money. I'm going to end the stream. I got to go do my member stream over on Geeks and Gamers Play. We're going to go do that. And then as soon as that's over, I'm going live again for CobraCast number 2 on the day. And we're going to stay as long as it takes to get everything done. How about that, chat? Okay, and I'll bring Hailstorm with me, and I do deserve the beard of shame for missing the stream last night. So we're gonna beard of shame me. Okay. Suresh, where can they find you, buddy?
At The Situation with Suresh, my private YouTube channel. Well, it's not private, my personal YouTube channel. And then, of course, everything tactical, all your tactical gear, body armor, everything else you need at 221B Tactical on every platform there is, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. So, but thank you to everyone. I have so much Geeks and Gamers and D-Day Cobra love over on my channel at The Situation with Suresh. I thank you so much. Love you guys. So Check out all the videos there, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. And you guys are some of the most incredible fans. You guys, Geeks and Gamers, D-Day Cobra, Ryan's fans, Jay's fans. You guys are just amazing. I love you guys all.
Hey man, and Tanner, again, biggest haters are ultimately the biggest fans. Dude, I don't care. I got called out by Jeremy on YouTube. This is great. I'm having the time of my life. You're having the time of your life because you came in my chat and said that you're gonna punch me in my face and you got destroyed. That's the time of your life.
This is the time.
You're probably more pathetic than I originally thought. Holy shit, Tanner! Fucking hell. Anyway, well, Tanner will be here later. We'll get some more super chats dedicated to Tanner. Thank you, Stacy, for dropping that 50 tonight. And again, I go check out Suresh. I'm going to be on Geeks and Gamers Play here in the next few minutes with our members, playing some Fortnite with our members. And then I'll be back on here to finish out the night with all of you lovely people because I owe you for missing last night. So, all right, guys, thank you so very much. Have a great night, and we will talk to all of you later. I'll see you on Geeks and Gamers Play. Good night, everyone.
Later.